This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. This bonus episode falls under the scope of Advancing the Aftermarket, a view from my aisle seat as the pioneer of auto service aftermarket podcasts. Carm Capriato here, and I'm sharing this special message because my passion to improve the professionalism of the aftermarket is steadfast. We are an improved industry because you take flight with many of the great ideas and insights that are presented on the Remarkable Results Radio podcast. Now, I know that because you tell me. Help bring the industry to new heights of professionalism. Recommend the Remarkable Results Radio podcast to your industry peers and colleagues as we work on advancing the aftermarket. You know, of late, there's been a lot of dialogue around my circles about being paid for the value you give and bring to your customer. I recently saw a survey of shops whose sales averaged $750,000, yet their net operating profit was only 2%. Now, that's about $15,000 average net operating income before tax in a year. This is a troubling stat, and it begs the question, how do you continue to invest in the business and even provide a living wage for you and your team at that level of profit? Now, consider the investment you have and the hours you put in. How's your work-life balance? Even after your salary, all your hard work brought you a very small return on your investment. For some owners, they're happy with that because they want and have a job or even a hobby. Others are learning that a very small profit will not sustain their business. Many struggling shop owners that can't pay the bills or haven't cashed a paycheck for a while come to the realization that they must earn a higher net profit if they want to survive. Without profit, you can't hire great people, you can't buy new equipment, you can't engage in the latest technology, and simply survive their hobby into a profession. Profit is the reason you're in business. It is the return on your investment. Some don't understand that net profit makes your business more valuable to a potential buyer. Store that somewhere. Recently, a business coach mentioned that most shop owners do not realize that their business is the conduit to providing a living wage for you and your team. Needless to mention a college education for your family and your team's family and a nest egg for retirement. These thoughts is what motivate owners to change and realize that they need help in running their business. By the way, there is no shame in that. Peer networking is making better leaders and businesses in our industry, period. Look, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Humility is a great trait to have. You don't have to have all the answers. Some don't like to admit that they don't have all the answers. Therefore, help from wise coaches and colleagues can be the difference in abundant success. One more time. Wise coaches and colleagues can be the difference in abundant success. You know, getting back to our focus on charging what we are worth, I would say that 98.9% of shop owners that I ask about raising their labor rate told me that they were the one who was most affected by the change. Their hesitancy and the pressure is all unjust. Hesitancy to change because of the universal effect on the customer is a fallacy. Most customers do not notice and don't even care, maybe one or two. But raising your rate $10 may not actually be the right or the correct move now. No, why not 20 or 25? How long has it been since you raised it? What is your net profit? Do you know? What do you need to invest in coming up or in the future? What technology or marketing do you need to invest in to keep and grow your business? You know, all too often you are so worried about the labor rate of the shop down the road or the dealer up the street. You know, that's the wrong way to look at your rate. Your investments in training, tools, equipment, subscriptions, facility, and employee benefits help establish what you need to charge. It is your value proposition to your customer that matters. Of course, you do need to consider your market's income, demographic, and how often you've been raising your rate. Always consider that. Okay, you decide to take a very serious look at your labor rate. There are many scientific ways to figure out your new labor rate, and one of them is not what the guy down the street is charging or what the OE dealer gets, as I said. You've got to consider all your shop's key performance numbers, such as your gross profit, sales dollars per repair order, the effective labor rate, average labor hours billed per invoice, and so many more. Find someone in your network to help you yellow pad the numbers. There are many that will help. And if you don't have a network, you can't call a friend. I can find someone who can help you. Just send me an email, CARM, C-A-R-M, at remarkableresults.biz. That's B-I-Z. Please reach out. As I said earlier, fear seems to be the biggest reason that many shop owners do not adjust their labor rates. You convince yourself that you'll lose business. Now, I'm not saying that may not happen, but most of the shop owners that did raise their rates wonder why it took so long to do so. Ask yourself if your new rate will provide a great value to your customers. Think about what you give them. Even if you are one of the highest in your market, what do you give them? If your answer is yes, then it's easy to do. If your value prop is strong, it's easy to do. Does your customer experience and feel the value you bring to your relationship? Are you paying for your people's training and their benefits? Then get paid for it. Recently in podcast sessions, we've discussed having multiple labor rates. Many of you know that. Now, we know that testing diagnostic jobs in many cases don't come with a large part sale. Typically, parts and labor make up 50-50 or maybe 55-45% of every invoice. Now, as a shop owner, you know that profits are made on parts and on labor. When part sales are not a significant part of a diagnostic procedure, you're missing out on the parts profit unless you've got a different and higher testing diagnostic labor rate. Multiple labor rates are a must today. You may have 5. I know a shop owner who posted a special and a higher labor rate, one of its highest labor rates on vehicles that are 25 years or older. He's in the Southwest where cars last a long time, and as he came to find out through the school of hard knocks, he was losing money on these vehicles because of the time they were spending on repair and waiting for parts and the research. I can only believe that in the North, where salt is used on the roads, the factor jumps even higher. He did not lose one customer. You know what it costs to do business. And if you don't have a profit or loss statement, you need to get one from your accountant. Every day you're bombarded with price increases from services you use to run your business, food. Think about where lumber and metal is going. The cost of everything is going up. It's all around you. So what are you doing about it? Now, if you don't review your gross profit margins on parts and services, you are leaving money on the table in each transaction. How will you ever start on the road to strong profit if you don't take a serious look at your labor rate and your parts margins? What do your labor and parts matrices look like? Hopefully your software has it. It's not hard to improve or fix. You know, your peers have come on the Aftermarket's premier podcast right here to speak on all the factors of profitability, including labor rates. These great audio forums make you the fly on the wall in every conversation and give you a ringside seat in the great networking world of podcasting. I'm giving you a URL that will search the site for all podcasts where we cover labor rates. Pick out a few and listen. Then take the steps to a financially healthier company and you. Here's a special web address, remarkableresults.biz/labor, remarkableresults.biz/labor. Run a better business. Please be proactive on the ideas and thoughts that you have. You know, you've heard this before. Often, knowledge is power, but only if you implement. Don't make this an I'll get to it tomorrow moment. Raise your labor rate. Do it now. Hey, thanks. Advancing the Aftermarket. It's Carm Capriato.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,